Welcome back. Today we are starting a new series where I completely reset NBA history, but randomly. I did this before last 2K. It's on my channel. Go under playlist and look for KBA if you want to watch it. This time we're doing it, but it's going to have the random factor to it. So yes, we're starting with a fantasy draft. So these are not going to be the 1983-84 rosters in real life where Larry Bird, Robert Parrish, and Kevin McHale are on the Celtics, where Isaiah Thomas and Bill Laimbeer are on the Pistons, where Magic and Kareem are on the Lakers. We're starting off random. And the other random factor of this is this first season typically would be the Michael Jordan draft class with 1984 with him and Hakeem or Akeem, at least at the time. But this time, we're going to be having a wheel determined. We are going to, whenever it asks us at the beginning of each season, or at the end of each season for free agency and stuff, it'll ask us, do you want to use blah, blah, blah draft? Like in this first season, it will say 1984. We're going to say no, and we are going to spin this wheel. And what if this wheel could give us the 2019 NBA draft class? If that happens, they will be the first draft out of all these drafts that's getting drafted in this video. And we're going to do it all the way until we get to real life, like today's date. And then when we get there, we'll probably simulate till everybody's careers that we know are done. So the people that are drafted last have, a career. But I include everything from 1984 all the way to 2026. Now, obviously, the 2026 draft we're barely even through the 2026 season when I'm recording this, but we know enough about Darren and AJ and the Boozer twins and, things like that to be able to include them in this video. So that's going to be that. We are not spinning this wheel yet, though, because we got to watch the fantasy draft first and look at some rosters. But yeah, so we got, all this draft storylines for all prospects. So maybe LeBron James doesn't go first in his draft because he maybe doesn't have as good of a high school career, and Carmelo Anthony blooms to be the first overall pick. That's something else that, is going to differentiate from it. We've got to do contracts, obviously, what they are for this time zone. Trades, we are going to do trade approval on, but I'm not going to say no. I just want to see when trades happen. And we're turning previously traded draft picks off. What you guys haven't seen is I got to the fantasy draft and realized I forgot to turn this off, so I had to restart. Because that is a crucial part. So there's that. Injuries we're going to keep on, everything like that. And and obviously nowhere near as many teams as there is right now. We're going to take control, but obviously I'm going to simulate. I'm not going to have anything to do with this. So congratulations, Rockets, Hawks, Cavs. You get the top 3 picks. Teams at the bottom, the Spurs, Nuggets, and the Bucks. The Bucks had like the last pick when I did this the first time too. But here you go. You're welcome. If you need to see the player pool of top of the top, Larry Bird, who makes not even $1 million. Moses Malone, Magic, Kareem, Isaiah are the top 5 players here. I would assume Larry goes first. He's young and he's the best overall by 2 overalls, and he does go first, and Magic goes second. So we will check out what those rosters look like when this is done. And obviously, these first couple of years aren't going to be great because look at all the auto-generated players. That's the one bad thing about, not the one, that is one of the bad things about doing these videos is they don't have the rights, I guess, to all players in history, which makes sense, but kind of sucks. So we will look at teams, of course. Magic versus Bird Arrow. These are the rule changes that'll happen at some point. Here's our first scenario, though, to where we got to figure out historic draft class. And they do have draft classes before this, but it's a very obviously they don't have 1962, 63. I wish you could reset NBA history all the way back to 1960. So like Wilt's 100-point game is still going to be here, sadly. But if you go to 1984, boom, every draft class up until 2025. And obviously 2026 will take from, online somewhere. But we got all this, but let's get our first spin down. So I've got it a little random, so not, all the teams are just in order. So let's get our first spin out of the way. Our first spin is going to be 2008. So off the top of my mind, the 2008 draft class, that's Westbrook, that's Kevin Love, that's I don't know who else that is, but I believe that is the Westbrook draft class. Let's see. Yeah, it's Michael Beasley, Derrick Rose, Kevin Love, Westbrook, Brook Lopez, Serge Ibaka, DeAndre Jordan, Pekovic. Okay, yes. There we go. We even got Roy Hibbert, George Hill down here, Eric Gordon. So this will be the first draft. Now, obviously, one of the things that 2K does a decent job at is, so I don't know who's a good player for. So Kevin Love eventually returns into a very good 3-point shooter in his career, to where he probably tucks at some point 4 or 5 a game, maybe. Let's just say hypothetically. He might have a good 3-point shooting, so his is above average. He's probably not going to take he is not going to take a lot, though, because of the time period where it just didn't happen. Which is why I think a guy like Derrick Rose, I think a guy like Westbrook, Serge Ibaka, DeAndre Jordan are going to be very good players in this time frame. So we've got that, but let's see what our rosters look like. So George Gervin is on the Philadelphia 76ers with Larry Nance and Herb Williams. We're not going to go too in depth because, again, when you get past like the 8th player, kind of not, real players. So we got Daryl Griffith and Mo Cheeks on the Bucks. Kareem is on the Bullets with Purvis Short and World Be Free. One of the craziest pictures in NBA history. Walter Davis is on the Bulls. Dan Issel. The Cavs got Moses Malone and Clark Kellogg and the young Clyde Drexler. So this team is probably going to be very good for the foreseeable future. Celtics, so they keep Parrish. They get Jamal Wilkes, who's a Laker. Bobby Jones, Vinny Johnson, whatever. Danny Ainge down here too, who ends up being a Celtic. Clippers, not horrible. They got a young James Worthy. They got Jeff Rulin. The Hawks got Magic and Marquez Johnson, the two M Johnsons, and they got M Thompson, which is obviously Michael. Tree Rollins as well, who, oh my God, 4.5 blocks a game basically the season before. And he's back in Atlanta. Kevin McHale, Otis Birdsong, and John Drew. Now, this again, I've previous attempts where I forgot to do this turn off the trade thing where I've only gotten a season in, so trust me, nothing crazy happens. They have Kevin McHale, who is one of the greatest 6 men of all time. They have this on for him, so we're gonna take that off so he can start. Mark Aguirre goes to the Kings. With Reggie Diaz and Joe Barry Carroll. The Knicks have Jim Paxson and a young Dominique Wilkins. Lakers have Bill Laimbeer, Maurice Lucas, Brad Davis. Mavs got Kiki, Dennis Johnson, and Dave Greenwood. Nets got Rolando Blackman, Norm Nixon, and Albert King. Nuggets got Kelly Tripucka, Buck Williams, Michael Cooper. Pacers got Adrian Dantley and Ralph Sampson and Sleepy Floyd. Okay, young team. That's good for them. Pistons got Sidney Moncrief and Terry Cummings with Bob Lanier, who's also a Piston at some point. Larry Bird goes to the Rockets with Johnny Moore and Cliff Robinson and a very old Bob McAdoo, especially for the time. Same with Nate Archibald down there. Jack Sikma to the Spurs with Ricky Green. Suns get Alex English, Calvin Nat, and Tom Chambers. The Supersonics get Julius Irving and David Thompson. So a lot of buckets over here now. Again, they are older for the time period that we're in, but Nonetheless, they're going to get some buckets. Trailblazers get a young Isaiah, which is one of the more underrated, picks in this draft. Not underrated because he still went probably top 5 in the fantasy draft, but a 22-year-old, 92 overall point guard. Going to be nice to have Artis Gilmore and Eddie Johnson, Eddie Johnson. Bernard King to the Warriors and Kenny Carr and Daryl Dawkins. And then that is it. So we are going to start simulating. Except I've got to turn all this stuff off, so I don't have control. But other than that, I will see you guys probably at the okay, I need to stop simulating. Oh my gosh. Get out of here. After we get a couple seasons in and we figure out some things with like how the league will look, we are going to probably do trades at some point 14, like the bigger trades, the much bigger trades, because a team, if Larry Bird's on the Rockets and the Rockets miss the playoffs 4 years in a row, Larry Bird probably doesn't want to be there anymore, so there are going to be situations like that where we will make the blockbuster trade at the deadline or in the off season for certain teams. But all that's on automatic, but we're not going to do that this first year because we have nothing to go off of. So we're going to just simulate, and I'll see you at playoffs. All right, Moses Malone is MVP, averaging 32 and 16 and 2 blocks. Ralph Sampson, Rookie of the Year. Lester Connor, 6th Man of the Year. Kareem DPOY, averaging almost 4 blocks a game at, how old is he? 37. Wow. LaSalle Thompson, Sean Moore. So the Cavs are looking really good, but that's Moses Malone's team, so it makes sense. Here's your All-NBA first team. Wow, Ricky Green. Okay. Larry Bird, almost a double-double. Kevin McHale does get the double-double per game. And then Moses Malone. Second team, Walter Davis, Isaiah Thomas. A young Dominique Wilkins, 25 and 8. Terry Cummings. And then Kareem. There's only 2 All-NBA teams at this time, so remember that. Here are your defensive teams. Here, your second team, your rookies, Ralph Sampson and Clyde. 2 best players probably coming out of this draft. But yeah, no playing, obviously. No NBA Cup. No clutch player of the year yet. And things like that. But let's get to let's just simulate, man. We got to get to the draft, right? The draft is what we want to see, right? So the 7-seeded Mavericks take out the Clippers, and the 6-seeded Pacers take out the Hawks. Those are only the upsets. But let's get through this. We want to get some real players in here, like did some today players, some other things. So, and obviously not every draft is it. So we might spin this for this next year, and it's not as nice of a year that we might, like 1988. I can't even think off the top of my head who would be in 1988, and I'm sure there are some Hall of Famers and some hitters, but I can't think off the top of my head. Not every draft class is going to have 6 Hall of Famers in it, so we just do need to remember that when we do spin. So some years aren't going to be as fun maybe as others, but here are your retirees. Antetokounmpo retiring. The best Antetokounmpo in NBA history, because Giannis doesn't exist right now. Neither does Alex. Neither does Thanasis. Neither does Kostas. Is there another one? I forget. Historic changes. So clear path and branding stuff. Okay. Yep. And then the draft lottery. We didn't look at standings, but here you go. Nets Trailblazers. This is how the first overall pick was determined then. Everything else is record based. So the first overall pick is gonna go to the I don't even remember who the other team was. The Nets, that's right. So good job, Nets. There were no trades. No, I didn't get offered any. Wouldn't make sense. Again, especially this time, not a ton of trades are happening like that. So everyone has their own first round pick. And everything like that. But let's get to the NBA draft, man. We are going to turn on automatic and we are going to watch. The Nets take Derrick Rose. That's big time. The Trailblazers are going to select Michael Beasley. That's not what happened in real life. Never mind. Westbrook goes to the Bulls, so they don't get Derrick Rose, but they get the other explosive point guard. The Nuggets take Brook Lopez. We watch the top 5 picks each draft. That's how we're probably going to go for this. Kevin Love goes to the Sonics. Okay. We are going to sim to end. That concludes what is now the 1984 NBA draft. So Derrick Rose and Beasley are the 2 best players to come in right now. Gallinari goes to the Bucks, Ibaka to the Jazz, Dante Green to the Mavs, Goran Dragic and George Hill's down here, Pekovic, OJ Mayo, Luke Mbamute. And then in the second round, Brandon Rush, a real player, Mozgov, Omir Asik, and some other guys. Roy Hibbert goes in the second round as well with Nicholas Batum and DeAndre. Wow. The Nets got DeAndre Jordan and Derrick Rose. That's great for them. That is really good for them. So let's go to free agency. Where, here are the teams that, so the best overall player, Jim Paxson, is the only free agent right now. So nothing too crazy. Player progression, probably not going to see a ton of amazing jumps. Kareem gets a lot worse, makes sense. Clyde Drexler, there's one of the big jumps that we were expecting. So Clyde Drexler and Moses Malone are going to have some decent years together before Moses Malone starts to get really worse. A couple jumps here. James Worthy jumps 5. Same with Derek Harper. Magic jumps 3. Good for him. John Bagley and Craig Elo. Dominique Wilkins jumps. Fat Lever jumps. Derrick Rose. Derrick Rose and DeAndre Jordan, not bad, man. Finals MVP Cedric Maxwell's here. Mark Eaton's here. DeAndre Jordan's gonna have a very good mentor in Mark Eaton. Sleepy Floyd jumps with Ricky Pierce. Doc Rivers jumps. Larry Bird down 2. Interesting, but Jeff Malone will jump. Isaiah jumps a couple. Byron Scott jumps a little bit. And then we're back at the start. But all right, you know what's coming up. We have got to pick our next draft. Let me put it up on the screen for you guys. And boom. 2008 obviously is gone. We can't get 2008 drafts. But we are going to get the 2000 draft, it looks like. Okay, the 2000 NBA draft is here. So that is who we are going to pick, and that is going to be next. Definitely one of the scenarios where I was saying 2000 draft in real life, not too amazing. Like, obviously, it's got all-stars, it's got good players, obviously, but I believe it is considered one of the weaker drafts in NBA history. Like Kenyon Martin, okay, Hedo Turkoglu, Jamal Crawford's here, Desmond Mason, Jamal McGlure, Michael Redd, who's a very good player, Andre Miller, Mike Miller, Quentin Richardson, Allen Wembanyama, the best Wembanyama in NBA history right now. I would make that joke every time we see something like that. But okay, so we're probably going to do for this episode, we're probably going to get to basically this point, but for next season, since this is the opening. This is going to be the opening episode. All right, so a trade that actually is going to matter. Now, again, I'm not going to show you trades that's like a 74 overall player for a 70 overall and a second round pick, but a top 3 protected pick from the Rockets goes to the Suns, and the Rockets is the team with Larry Bird currently. Now, again, The player overall isn't what matters. It's the pick, because the picks obviously is how this league gets better. But another one, lottery protected, so it's not as not as insane, but nonetheless, there are trades that are happening. Moses Malone again. Westbrook gets Rookie of the Year. Now, 22% from three. How many did he end up taking? He took 41, which I would venture to say is probably one of the most in the league. Here are your other awards. Cavs won 70. Whoa. Here are your all NBA teams. We really care about the players that are coming in, right? So like the Kevin Love, 35% from three. He shot 57. Wow. Okay. Derrick Rose, 21 and 5. We'll see who shot the most, but Derrick Rose only shot 9. JJ Hickson, Brooke Lopez, Michael Beasley shot 54% from three on 11 attempts. Okay. Pekovic, DJ Augustine, Goran Dragic, and Serge Ibaka. But yeah, let's see what happened real quick. Season stats, let's say league leaders. Let's go to absolute. And who shot the most threes? Okay, so someone actually shot a very, very good amount. So Mo Spates, who was part of this draft class, shot 100. Eric Gordon shot 84. Wow, okay. All right, so actually some players are, maybe changing the times a little bit. So that's interesting. But yeah, here's what we got here. NBA standings, if you want to check to see if teams you were rooting for. Portland may have the first overall pick. Oh, never mind. Okay, who's going to be partnering up with Westbrook? Is Kenyon Martin maybe going to play with Westbrook? You never know. Let's get through it. Here we go. Wow, we do have a couple upsets though, I will say. So let's get our two finals teams. So like the Jazz upset the Clippers, which I think happened last season too, and then the Hawks. I guess it's a 5 seed beating a 4 seed. It's not really an upset, but the Cavs they run away with it. Moses Malone averaged 39 and 11. Wow. Retirements. So within reason, I'm going to tell players no. Kareem, I'm telling you no. You're 90 overall still. Dan Issel, 82 overall. These guys are not going to probably be playable, so I'll let them go. No Hall of Famers, jersey retirements, Nate Archibald. And then historic changes. So lottery picks are done random weighted draw. Okay, so no more of that. Right, I don't think that means any more of that 50-50 for the first overall pick. But all lottery teams will have equal odds. Oh, okay, so we're just going to have to see. I should stop predicting. Just some more branding. So draft lottery, let's see. Oh, so so the lottery, the teams got all 14, which kind of sucks for like a team like the Bulls because they had the first pick, but they could drop pretty low. This honestly is a draft that we don't really care too much about, so I'm gonna skip the results. And the Bulls do get the first overall pick. Pacers second, third, Nets. So some teams that need it. Some teams that need it for sure. When there are better drafts, like that again, because this draft isn't really that good for the 2000s, we will be doing the lottery, but it's kind of one of the drafts I'm kind of glad we're getting rid of somewhat early. Or maybe it should be a draft that we want to do later on, but who knows? Nonetheless, we are going to sit through the top 5 picks, like I say we will. So the Bulls, so Kenny Martin and Westbrook. I don't remember who the Pacers drafted last year, but they get Donnell Harvey. The Nets get Marcus Fizer to go and join Derrick Rose. The Suns, hey, I'm not. This is a horrible trade. You're trading this year's pick and next year's pick for Mo Cheeks. I'm not. I'm just here to see that when they happen. So there you go. Now the Bucks gonna went up to get Hidu Turkoglu, okay? Who is from Turkey. That's pretty fire. His name is Turkoglu. Oh my god, we got another. Dan Issel to the Kings and the Bulls. Wait, I say the Bulls? Oh, uh-oh. The Bulls are trying to make move. They know what this video is. Stromile Swift, okay. All right, and that is going to be the top 5 picks there. We got Michael Redd went to the Mavs. We got Chris Mims went to the Blazers. Desmond Mason to the Warriors. Crawford to the Nuggets. Speedy Claxton to the Supersonics. Keon Dooling, okay. Andre Miller. And then the second round, Mike Miller goes pretty low. Wembanyama, Ime Udoka. That's okay. 2000. Wow. Okay. Pepe Sanchez, and then these guys here. Let's go and see free agency. Nothing still that good. Nothing good at all, actually. So we're just gonna skip through it. Kevin Love jumps. Okay. Isaiah is probably one of the 2 best players in the league now. Goran Dragic up 5. See, it's already getting fun because we're 2 years in. It's already getting fun. Roy Hibbert jumps. Gallinari jumps. This is a team, right, that traded their pick? No, they traded for a pick because they got Hidu. Bullets. Yikes. They are going to be very bad. But hey, they got Wemby. He's only 6'9". They got Wemby, but not the right one. Westbrook up a lot, but now they've got Kenyon Martin as well. So they're going to try and get a little duo here. Speaking of duos, maybe the best duo in the league. Not maybe, definitely the best with what they've been doing. Just trying to get through quickly. Derek Harper and James Worthy jump a lot. Magic's a 99, okay. Jazz, some players jump in there. Baco only jumps 2, okay. Kings, DJ Augustine jumps. Wilkins up 1. Lakers, Mavericks. Derrick Rose jumps, okay. Orlando Blackman is still relatively young too. DeAndre Jordan only up 1 though. Hey, that's not great if you're a Nets fan. Brook Lopez up 4. What else we got? Nothing too crazy. Dale Ellis jumping. And that's about it. All right, so we are going to see what draft comes next, and that's it. That is it. So let me pull up our wheel here. Let me pull it up. Where are we? Here we go. Boom. Next team that is coming in is the 2000. Oh God, 2001. Don't give us back-to-back stinkers. Ugh. Okay. All right. So 2001, another draft that I don't really believe is that amazing. So let's see. 2001 draft. I think they go through a little stinker with like, I believe 99, 2000, 2001 is not great. Then it gets good with 02, 03. Although 02, oh shit, I just loaded in the wrong. Just loaded in the wrong draft. I just loaded in 02. We're not here yet. Sorry, wrong one. Yeah, I mean, you guys aren't here yet. 2001 is what I meant to load. Pau Gasol, Gilbert. Okay, Gilbert Arenas. Okay, no. There are some very good players here. Never mind. This is better than 2000 for sure. Okay. All right. Yeah, that definitely better. But that's where we're going to end it. For the first episode. Let me know what you guys think. Do you guys like this idea? Give me some suggestions in the comments. Share with a friend, everything like that. It's going to be very fun to do. Thank you for watching. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, share. Again, thank you for watching.